Good morning, everybody. Welcome to part 2 of my camper restoration. I decided to get the outside totally done and ready to go before I do anything further on the inside. So, part 1, or the first part to work on, I had 2 cracks in the roof. And these Coleman tent campers were notorious for that. They had a lot of problem with them. And I've seen people that made a homemade resin out of like airsoft pellets and acetone, and some people epoxy it, and there's lots of different fixes, and they all seem to work, or did to me, but of course I don't know how long they lasted. But I went to Menards for supplies to do some work on it, to paint and something to fix the roof with. And what the guy in the paint department, he actually has worked on some RVs and campers, and he said, you know, the problem with a lot of those products is they end up getting brittle in the hot sun. And he has used, with good success, according to him, a product called Flex Seal, which is like a silicone. It's a rubber-based, flexible sealant. But it is paintable, which silicone isn't. He said he recommended it, and he was sure it was really going to do what I wanted it to do. So I took his word for it. So, as you'll see in the first picture, what you do with these cracks is you drill a small hole at each end of the crack, and that stops it from spreading anymore. I used about a 3/16 drill bit and drilled a hole at each end of the crack, and then filled it with the sealant, and it seemed like it did a pretty good job. One of them shows a little, but my concern is that it doesn't leak and that it holds up more than aesthetics. And so anyway, you'll see in the first photograph that where I drilled the holes and sealed the crack, and the other one was about the same size and about the same repair, and then I painted the roof with just, again, he recommended just a good quality latex exterior paint, and the body I painted with a latex. He said he really believed it would hold up just fine. It was easy to clean the gun out afterwards. You know, I'm all for easy, as long as it works and holds up, and it's going to do a quality job. And he assured me it would. And I know, you know, in the automotive industry is using latex now, so I don't have a problem with that. So it's just a white, the best quality latex paint that Menards sells. It's on the roof, and a blue-gray. Same stuff, same brand, same quality that I painted the sides with. So anyway, here's the paint job and how I did it, and boy, she looks a lot better. So here you go. Okay, so there's a nice fresh coat of paint on the roof. Everything's sealed and good. While that's drying, I'll start working on the rest of these decals that have to come off, and then by then it'll be dry on top, and I'll start sanding and prepping the sidewalls for paint. Be back. Okay, so here's something I discovered. The hair dryer or a heat gun works really good on taking the stripes off, but the letters on the back are way thinner vinyl. By the time you get them hot enough or warm enough to dissolve the glue and they start to peel, the vinyl gets real soft and stretches and just kind of falls apart and doesn't pull off. So they're so thin, I discovered if you just hit them with a drill with a wire wheel on it, wire brush on it, they sort of just disintegrate. They're real thin. So then I'll go over with acetone or something and make sure all the glue's off here, and we'll be good. So the coal's gone, the man to go. Be back. Oh, and one other thing, in case you're wondering, yeah, I did try the wire wheel and brush on the stripes, and it wouldn't even eat through the vinyl. So it's a way heavier vinyl than the lettering is. So anyway, that's what I found out. Be back. Okay, that wasn't too bad. That probably only took, I don't know, 2-3 minutes a letter. So those are gone. I got that little bit of stripe over there to do, and then the stripe that's on the door that folds down for a step, it was down when I took that side off, and I didn't think of it till I put the step up, and there was stripe. So I got to take that off yet. Then it's time to start sanding. Be back. Alright, so I had fully intended on taking off a lot of these lights, reflectors, and accessories until I realized how risky that was going to be. Stripping screws out, breaking screws off. So I just decided it probably took longer to mask everything than it would have to take them off, but it's just safer, and I think it's going to be just fine doing this. It's just a little time consuming. Anyway, I started sanding. You can, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but the last 2 feet up there is still kind of glossy. I still haven't sanded that. I got 2 feet to go on this side. Back's done, the other side's done. I got to do the front. That's with 80 grit. I started with that, and then I'm going, I'm sorry, with, 80 grit. Then I'm going to go back over it with, I think it's 150 and then 220. And then wipe it all down with paint thinner and get the dust off, and we'll be good to go and ready to paint. I finished painting the top. It must have been around 11:30 or so. It says dries to the touch in an hour and fully dried in 4 hours. It's about 3 o'clock now, so it should be fully dried. I'm going to cover that with a plastic drop cloth before I paint, so I want to make sure it's good and dry before I lay that plastic on it, but it should be. I got like another hour of sanding, and then by then for sure it should be, that'll be like 5-6 hours that the white's been on there, so we should be good. I'll be back. Okay, so I've been back over it 2 more times with finer and finer sandpaper. Finished it with 220, and I just wiped the whole thing down with paint thinner and got all the dust off. So now I got to put the plastic drop cloth over the roof, and we're ready to paint. break time. Be back. Okay, so there's the first coat of the body paint. And that's a paint and primer in one. I hope they mean it. I double checked the internet in a couple different places, and it says no primer needed, even on bare metal. So, I hope, but boy, it looks better. I like the color better. And there's still thin spots in it, but like I said, that's first coat. I'll wait here about half hour, 45 minutes. Then I'll shoot her again. I'll be back.